Yeah. Yeah.
Welcome in, everybody. It is Tuesday, which means one thing only, and that is it is time for the Fantasy Cheat Sheet presented by Going for Two Live. Go follow Going for Two Live on YouTube, Twitch, everything. Go like, subscribe, comment. Jamie's always commenting. He'll comment back, I guarantee you. So let's just get into the cast and crew, and then we'll get into all our goodies of the night. First off, Jordan, what is up, my man? How you doing?
I'm doing all right, man. Balancing, keeping up with our Lakers. So, I'm worried about that, but I'm ready to talk some football.
For sure. And Jamie, my man, what is up over there in Ohio?
Man, just chilling, just winding down from all my rookie drafts, startup drafts, just finishing all those up. I only got 5 more to go.
All right. So we have decided to just do a wild card episode, talk about whatever we want to talk about. Jamie wanted to talk about certain things. I just didn't know what to talk about. And so we just decided to do it. But we don't have really any news. So I decided on my lunch break, we are going to play a game. Well, I am going to be the host and you two are going to play a game. So I am going to give you, in order, a person's career path, starting with their college. And I want to know who can get it first. All right. And so if I said Cal Berkeley, Green Bay, New York.
Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers. Okay.
Oh, geez. I'm not good at this, but let's go.
Because okay. I will give you a hint. Most of these will have ties to one of us in some shape or form. All right. So we'll go let's start with the first one. And I am going to set it off heavy. Let's do this. All right. Fordham University is the college. No.
Didn't even know that was a college.
Arizona Cardinals, Miami Dolphins, Denver Broncos, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Chase Edmonds.
There you go, buddy. There you go. You got it right.
You could have kept going. I probably still would have got that.
You know I put that in there right for you.
Yes.
All right. USC, Pittsburgh, Kansas City, New England.
Juju.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. I got a special one. There's only a few of them. But this might be my favorite. North Carolina State, New England, Indy, Miami, Cleveland, Washington.
What? Repeat that again. New England, Miami.
New England, Indy, Miami, Cleveland.
Oh, Brissett.
Jacoby Brissett,
Oh,
baby!
jeez.
Okay,
the legend.
To be 100% honest, that game was to get Jacoby Brissett on the show and not have to hear it from Jamie.
the fantasy cheat sheet legend.
Oh, man. His 11.6 points per game.
Yes. All right. So I just had to do that because I figured it'd be funny. Okay. So let's just get into the show. We have our normal cheats of the week. It's just random. So I'm just going to randomly go. Jordan, what is your first one you want to talk about?
So, I haven't done nearly as many rookie drafts as Jamie
Nope.
has. I'm more of a redraft person, as you guys know, but I've just been trying to figure. In a couple of leagues, people have been trying to sell me Ken Walker, and I'm just curious, really, to get you guys' take on. As far as dynasty goes, obviously he's still a top running back. I know before the draft, I would assume he was a top 5 dynasty running back for a lot of people, but obviously with the Seahawks getting sharp and have no idea what to do with Ken Walker. I don't have him on many teams, but just in general, like where are you guys looking at him and Charbonnet in Dynasty and then in redraft as well? Because like I said, I do a lot of redrafts. Ken Walker in a couple of mocks I've done redrafts wise. He's dropped to like the 4th or 5th round. Obviously, before the draft, he would have been like a first or second round pick. So what I'm just interested to hear you guys' thoughts on those guys in both Dynasty and in redraft.
Oh
Go
man.
ahead, Jamie.
Well, I know at a time in the offseason, a lot of people had him as the number 1 overall, and then he dropped down to 2, and then I was like telling him sell now because he's never going to be able to go higher than that. Just sell him at the high point. Now I think I have him at like RB7, which is still pretty high up there.
Right.
I was in a startup, actually. Jeff on last Wednesday was reviewing our draft on his show, and in that draft, I think I got him in the 6th round of a dynasty, which was
Jeez.
insane value. Like I couldn't pass him up. It was either the 5th or the 6th, but I wouldn't buy him. I would just, if you have him, hold him. He's still going to do good. Still going to get you fantasy points. Injuries happen. So what if Charbonnet gets hurt and then he gets the full workload again? But it will be interesting to see how they use both of them in the same offense.
What about you, Mike?
I for redraft. I mean Charbonnet. I'm not. I would have thought about Charbonnet if you would have ended up on another team in redraft. For redraft purposes, Charbonnet is pretty much wasteland now. I still would take him in Dynasty, but obviously he's going to drop a little bit. I still have seen him go. I mean, I even showed Jamie one draft that I got somebody else pretty good at a lower. So in one draft, I was able to get Zay Flowers at 203. Well, the only reason I was able to get Zay Flowers at 203 was freaking Charbonnet still went like at 108, and I'm like what the heck? Like Quentin Johnson went at 202 and 202, and Zay went at 203. It was like a running back run in the end of the first round, and I was like in shock. I would say I don't know the exact number I'd put him at, but I would say between like 5 and like from 5 to where Jamie's got him.
So between 5 and 7.
Yeah, to
So it's
me,
not.
this running backs in general, I'm starting to like. I'm scared of running backs these days. Let's put it that way.
Yep, they don't last long.
Yeah, and I guess it all depends. Like, there's room for both of them to play well, and it wouldn't be surprising if Ken Walker got hurt at any point. So that Charbonnet, I think, has some value in redraft from a handcuff standpoint. Because Walker runs hard. He was banged up a little bit last year, so it's possible Charbonnet gets a run. As far as dynasty goes, yeah, people have been trying to sell him, but I don't know. He's not a buy to you, Jamie. At this.
No, oh no.
He's not a buy, but the problem with, and we've brought this up multiple times on this show. We've brought me and Jamie. I know all three of us have heard it on other shows. Jamie has heard it on other shows. Should we be not that? Not the question I'm asking, but the result of my question. Should we really be surprised that a running back went to Seattle? No team is going workhorse back anymore. It just happens that you have one of the top 5 guys and one of the top 5 rookie running backs now in the same room. We wouldn't be talking about like this if, for instance, and Jamie, I'm just saying it as an example. We wouldn't be talking about it like this, in my opinion, if, say, Roschon would have gone there in the 3rd round. Or if Tajay Spears would have gone to Seattle. We wouldn't be talking in the same light, but because it was a guy who was considered either the number 3 or 4 running back in dynasty or in rookie drafts, going to the same backfield as the number 4 or 5 dynasty running back at the time. I think that's the real reason we're talking about it now.
Right. Yeah, definitely agree. Like, I mean, Ken Walker is a young guy. I mean, he was a rookie last year. So, if Charbonnet would have got drafted to, let's say, the Chargers or something like that, even with Austin Eckler, you would understand it. Yeah, Eckler asked for a trade, wants more money. He's older, reaching that 28 year old threshold where guys start to kind of tail off. So that would have made sense. But I mean, I guess he was the best player available for them, and they took him. So we're gonna just be dealing with this for for some time to come, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's the same boat that I think we all understand what we're trying to say. So Jamie wanted to talk a lot tonight about inside rookie drafts, and I have no problem with that. Jamie, why don't you start it off?
So I just want to start with some rookie mistakes that some new people that Dynasty are making, and I made them in the past. I learned from my mistakes, obviously, but I don't want people to make the same mistakes that I did. One of them is basing like drafting based on needs as opposed to value.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of beginners look at their roster, they're like, "Oh, I need a running back. I'm one running back away, like one wide receiver away." So they'll reach for them in the draft just to get them, as opposed to drafting the value and then possibly like trading for a player later. Like for example, I was in a draft that just ended yesterday. Some guy was at the 301, and all he has was Kyler Murray, and he ended up taking Stenson Bennett at the 301. And in all my draft, he goes in the mid 4th.
Yeah.
So like he could have easily got him with his next pick, but for some reason he reached on him at the 301, and that's a huge mistake. People should not do that. Jaden Reed was on the board. There was other great players on the board. Like if anything, he could have traded back even like 7-8 picks and still got Bennett plus another piece. But yeah, that's one of the mistakes that people need to look at. Second one is, let's see, I got a couple, but don't draft based on landing spots, and like don't overvalue the landing spots. Because remember what happened with CH? It shot CH up above Jonathan Taylor going to the Colts, and I wasn't the one putting him up there, but a lot of people were like, "Oh yeah, CH is number 1 pick." I'm like, no, he's still 5 on my board. Like, I didn't even put him above Dobbins or Swift or anything. But a lot of people do that. And if you remember last year, it was Sky Moore. Sky Moore got drafted to the Chiefs, and people were drafting him above people like Dotson and Pickens, even Garrett Wilson at times. I've seen it. It's crazy. But you learn from those mistakes. You got to remember that talent is permanent, but teams change. Situations change. Yeah, exactly. So just because someone got on a great landing spot, it doesn't mean that they're gonna last forever in that team.
I'm gonna put up Jeff's comment up. Jeff says, same. This with the opposite result was AJB going to a run-heavy Titans team. Everyone lowered him in their rankings. Whoops. Yeah, I was going to bring that up. Not about AJB, but I was going to say it also goes the other way with the landing spot too. Sometimes you can overcorrect it the other way as well, of saying, oh no, it's a bad thing. For instance, the people that are saying, oh, don't take JSN because he ended up, it's funny we're talking about Seattle again. Don't take JSN because he ended up in a group of Lockett and DK. I'm still taking JSN. I was in a rookie draft that literally I had 5 and 6. People were trying to move up, get him. Guess what I ended up doing? I said, screw it. I'm taking Gibbs and I'm taking JSN. I'm taking the talent. I'm not worrying about that. I didn't worry about what I had on my team at the time. I got lucky because in that same team I had Swift. So when I was worried about it, but then when Swift went to Philly, now I got Swift JSN, and Gibbs on the same team, so I'll take it all day long. What do you got to say? What do you think, Jordan?
Yeah, I mean that's that's some knowledge right there because I mean I'm thinking about it myself in one of the drafts I have. I was thinking about like I need some running backs, but I mean I don't need to sell out just to get that. I mean there's probably gonna have some value at receiver or any other position, so it's just good to kind of just take that. And you could always try to trade. Some leagues though are not as willy nilly to trade though, so there's a
Yep.
lot of people who can't get those trades. There's a lot of not leagues with guys like you and active people, but like there's other people like just your friends. A lot of times, a lot of they don't want to trade like
A
that.
lot of
So
home leagues are hard to trade in.
yes, it's hard, man. And like when you ask somebody for somebody, like, oh nope, that mean I gotta keep them if you want them. So then it does. There's no price. There's no negotiation. It's just a no. But definitely something to look into of just drafting the best player available, basically.
Yep.
Yeah, so like even this year, between Jaden Reed and Marvin Mims, like I think Marvin Mims is the more talented receiver. He ended up on the Broncos as their number 3 receiver. Reed's, I mean, it's kind of like a 1A, 1B type to Watson even, because I think he's going to out target Dobbs. So
Dubs.
so I was like weighing the options, and then I was just thinking like I'm just going to go with the better talent. Took Mims every time.
Yeah, because it also wouldn't be far fetched to see Cortland Sutton or Jared Judy out the door, and then he moves up the depth chart like that. So that's always
I,
a possibility.
Yep.
I think Sutton's more likely now. I wouldn't have said that a month ago, but now that they decided to pick up the 5th-year option
Yeah,
on Jerry Judy, I think that is the rightfully so. All right, so I'm going to get into my first one, and I'm going all over the place tonight. I'm going random as heck. So my first one is the NFL schedule release. Here I'm gonna my thing is twofold. One, I love the fact that the Chiefs are playing opening night. Why? Because it means we're Super Bowl champs. I am kind of confused on the fact that we're playing the Lions, but that is here nor there. I do feel sorry for one team, and that is my team from my closet team from last year. The Jaguars have to play 2 weeks in a row in London. So they have a home game in London, and then the Bills are playing a home game against the Jaguars in London. So we're all assuming they're not flying across the pond and going back. But I just think it's kind of sucky that the league is making them play 2 weeks in a row in London. But for the sake of our show with the fantasy cheat sheet, that's all I'm going to bring up about those. This is what I want to talk about the schedule. For most playoffs, for fantasy football playoffs, it's weeks 15, 16, and 17 for most. Sometimes they're 14 too, but I just put those into perspective for 15, 16, and 17. There's 3 or 4 matchups I want to bring up because it could get, if everything falls in place like we think so, things are going to get juicy, fellas. And this is why. Let me bring it up so I have it all. I thought I had it all ready to go, but so in week 15, where's it at? Okay, in week 15, the Dallas Cowboys play the Buffalo Bills. That could be a juicy matchup, defenses wise, and just the fact of you have, I mean, Jonathan Allen. You can have Diggs. You
gotcha.
can have Josh Allen, Diggs, Prescott. Why was I saying a defensive lineman from Washington? Yeah, you could have
Howard.
Dak. You could have Pollard. You could have
Lamb,
Schoonmaker, whatever that new rookie's name is. You could have
Dalton
whoever.
Kincaid.
Kincaid.
Yeah.
You can have Kincaid. You could have Knox, even if, whatever the case may be. In week 16, oh, come on. It went down. Week 16 schedule. One of them is I saw it somewhere. Where was it at? So remember, this is the semifinals of your league, and that's the big thing. It's the semifinals, week 16, and you're looking at where was it? I think one was one of yours. Baltimore and San Francisco can be a very juicy one,
Yeah.
which is on Christmas Day. Giants and Philly can be a juicy one. But the one that I think is going to be juicy and a little under the radar, Minnesota Vikings hosting the Detroit Lions for your semifinal matchups. I'm not going to bring up one player because I'm bringing him up in a little bit. But you could have Justin Jefferson, Cousins, Goff, Gibbs, Jameson Williams if he's freaking not betting or freaking staying healthy. Amon-Ra St. Brown. You could have Laporta. You could have all those guys. But here's the juiciest one of them all, and I'm only bringing up one. And yes, it's because my team, but it's more than that. Championship weekend. The Chiefs are playing the Bengals, boys.
Wow.
Week 17, Chiefs play the Bengals, and we all know what Jamar Chase does to my defense. I have a feeling if you got Jamar Chase and you got Joe Burrow on your team, you could be winning some championships, not just because they're good, but because the team they're going against, the second, I don't think anyone on my team can still hold freaking Jamar Chase to freaking under 100 yards, okay? Any thoughts, boys? Because I'm afraid I got to make sure I got Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow on my redraft teams now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to draft them pretty early, though.
Oh, I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, definitely gonna have to draft them early. Yeah, I'm looking at some of these matchups, man. Like there's the Bills and Chargers in week 16. That's gonna be a
Mm-hmm.
good one as well. Lions and Cowboys week 17 championship weekend. Yeah, man, they got some good matchups. So a
It's
lot of these
scary.
players you got to draft early, like Jamie said. A lot of them in these matchups that we were talking about. But I think it'll be worth it. But as always in fantasy football, injuries. You just gotta hope you stay healthy, and if they do, then we're looking forward to some fireworks and deciding some championship games. Travis Kelsey is typically leading the team somewhere in a championship matchup. Mahomes, guys like that. So all you can do is hope for health, and I'm looking forward to it though.
Yeah,
JD?
see, I really don't look at schedules like that when I draft, but I know some people do when they do the tournaments.
Yeah.
They look at like the week 16, 17 correlations, and that's pretty much how like they target their players. But I need to get more into that and just understand it more.
Yeah, I only
Uh,
look at it a little bit redraft for bias, but
Yeah, I'll
it's
look
no,
at it in
not
I
redraft.
don't even look at it in bye weeks. Like
it's not a
I
determining
just
factor. It's just something that I
yeah.
look at. And then if I
Mhm.
take a L one week, I take a
Yeah,
L.
I don't look at bye weeks anymore. I used to, but I stopped giving a crap about bye weeks. All
Yeah.
right,
But
Jordan, what is your number two?
My number two, I gotta go back and look at the sheet. Um, yeah, let me see
oh, while you're
here.
looking that up, so like I was looking at the Brown schedule, and I could see about 9 wins, and that's kind of iffy, but that's not gonna be good enough to even make the playoffs
I
with our
was, I
division.
was, I was happy the Packers had 6 games on that. I was happy but surprised that the Packers had 6 national televised games this upcoming season. So, uh, hey,
I'm
Jordan
Yeah,
Love, Showtime.
Jordan Love, man, they're gonna show him off to the world, right?
Showtime, Jordan Love, but man, I got running back stuck in my head, so I want to talk some more about that with you
Yeah,
guys.
go
Um,
for it.
rookie running back. So like I mentioned when we were off air, I have some second round picks looking for some running backs. I need some. Obviously, there are guys who are talented, but a lot of them have gone to places where it's kind of crowded. We talked about Charbonnet already with Ken Walker. There's Kendrick Miller has an avenue to instant relevancy this year if things happen with Kamara. But I mean, he's still behind Kamara and Jamal Williams right now. Achan, he's in behind two guys right now who always hurt. So that's possible that he can take the reins really quickly. There's Jamie's boy Roshan. He's in the three-headed backfield right now. Just I don't know who my favorite is right now. I guess if I like I'm doing what Jamie said not to do, but when I think about who has the easiest opportunity to start, I think it's HN right now. Uh, and if Kendra Miller is also interesting as well. There's Roshan, but um, surprisingly, as of now, if I had to draft, I mean, I guess if Charbonnet was there in the second round, I would take him. But I'm looking for somebody I could play,
Is it super
and then
flex or
do
one
any of,
QB?
huh?
Super flex or one QB?
Superflex.
Yeah, super
Uh,
flex. I mean, you'll see a lot of running backs, pretty much all of them, but Bijan and Gibbs.
Oh yeah, I wish that Gibbs or something would fall, but I know that's not gonna happen. But yeah, I'm just like interested in what do you guys think? Like, because I think right now, if I had to pick, I would guess my favorites would be like, and then there's even Tank with Jacksonville, who's looking good in rookie camp so far, and who looked good in rookie camp. So I mean, there's a lot of guys, but I'm just interested to hear you guys' thoughts. Who you guys' favorites, and do any of these guys have redraft value?
I think all of them could. Miller's obviously, it depends on Kamara. But I like A-Chain a lot, honestly. Like, he's been growing on me. I hated him at first, but after looking into him, like, the dude's a track star. He's fast. He can catch the ball. People are talking about how small he is, but that's because like, he was doing track and he never had like the time to put on the weight. Now he's actually putting on weight, so I think he's up to like 192 now. He's getting up there, so I can see him hitting almost 200 pounds by the time the season starts. So, but I'm not too worried about old man Mostert and Jeff Wilson. I mean,
Right.
like, when I look at that, I look at A-Chain being the guy there, but not right away. It might take a few weeks, but when I'm in rookie drafts and A-Chain's on the board with Miller and Roshan, I'm debating between Miller and A-Chain. And
Really?
yeah. Oh, yeah.
Wow.
So I think I took A-Chain in one. And then one actually, and then when Miller and Roshan are on the board, I debate the two, even though I always pick Miller because I'm not dumb. I go with the better guy. But I think it's fun just like debating, like, oh, what if I do take Roshan here? Like, but I never do. But I think right now I got like A-Chain in 2 leagues, Miller in 6, and Roshan in 6.
Yeah.
So it's a good even amount, but I always get Roshan later.
A-Chain definitely seems like the one with the quickest path to being relevant as a starter. I definitely think that I can see that in the works for him.
Like,
He
I've
seems
seen him go as high as 107, 108.
Who?
But when
A-Chain?
A-Chain.
I saw him go 108.
Yeah, but usually on average he's like the 202, 203 area, like right around Miller, and
yeah.
then you got Mayer thrown in there sometimes. But yeah, if you're going redraft, I would probably, I want to say A-Chain, and then between the three, I like Roshan better than Miller in redraft. Honestly, I see him being more of a path, like with the people in his backfield as opposed to the people in on the Saints.
Which is
Mike,
smart. Man.
you know,
All right, so I just looked up 2 drafts that I've already been in, and in one of them, A-Chain went at 108, and Miller went at 205 in the same draft. But the draft that I'm looking at right now, Kendra went at 201 and A-Chain went at 202 consecutively. And in this draft, Bigsby actually went at 210, Roshan
yeah,
302.
Jeez.
Um,
Lucky.
and Tajay Spears at 3-3. Tajay was me. I was planning on taking Roshan at 3-3 if he fell, but someone dropped, took him right before me. Here's what I'll say. I was exactly in the same boat as Jamie when it came to a chain a little bit ago. That landing spot was probably the best landing spot he could be in. I am afraid of him, but it has absolutely, and it's kind of what Jamie said too, it has absolutely nothing to do with Jeff Wilson, and it has nothing to do with Mustard Mostert, whatever you want to call him. It purely has to do with the fact of the system and McDaniel, not because McDaniel himself, but Jamie, how many times in the past, even before I met you, even when we were playing back in the day, I had a team. I forget how many years ago it was, but my two running backs were Tevin Coleman and Freeman when
Oh, yeah.
Shanahan was the coordinator in Atlanta, and I never knew, and I was always played the wrong freaking guy. Then you go to Frisco before he got McCaffrey, and it's a system. He has two. You never know which one's going to be the guy. I'm just afraid of the system messing him up. However, I think he has enough of a path to succeed in that way. The reason I gave that smirk that Jordan called me out on for was the only thing that I do disagree with you, Jamie, is out of the three, if I had to pick two out of the three for redraft, I'm taking a Chain and Miller, not Roshan.
That's fair. Fair enough.
The reason is I really do believe, and I think we all can agree, that I think Kamara's going to miss at least 2 games. I don't think it's going to be much more than 2. But I am hoping that he proves himself enough and is enough of a change that he will still get run with Kamara in the offense. That's what it boils down to. For Dynasty, all of them. I'm still hesitant on Bigsby, but that
Yeah.
is purely because I think that's also because I'm such a ETN guy that it's hard for me to be like, oh, Bigsby's going to do great. No. But overall, I think for redraft, I think those two are the ones that I would have the value on. For Dynasty, all of those, Spears is a conundrum in himself because there was no ACL supposedly and all that jazz. But other than that, I think that's that. Jamie, what's your second thing you want to talk about in rookie drafts?
Before I go to that, I wanted to say I was in one draft, and remember I was telling you not to reach on players. One of my tips.
Yes. Who'd you reach on?
I didn't reach on nobody. Someone was at the 108. Guess who they picked at the 108? Roshan Johnson. I was pissed at first because I had like the 201, and I was like, what? But then when my turn came, Miller was there still. So I'm like, well, I would have took Miller anyway. So yeah. Whatever. But that was bad process by him. But anyway, I want to talk about some late round guys. So like guys that you get into like the very end of your drafts, middle of the 4th round to the end, people that are going to be on waivers that you can just pick up for free or you use your fab on to just throw on your taxi squad. And there's a few guys I wanted to point out. Some of my favorites, Hutchinson, Parker Washington, A.T. Perry. I love Charlie Jones for the future. And found this guy named Lou Nichols. Have you ever heard of Lou Nichols?
He went to Central Michigan, got drafted by the Green Bay Packers. Of course, we know who he is.
Okay, I was just making sure because he's only like
Packer. You got a Packer fan on set.
Just making sure because I was looking at his percentage owned. He's only like 23% owned in sleeper. I'm like, people need to wake up on this guy because real quick, I just wanted to point this out. In 2001, he had over 1,800 yards.
2001, he wasn't even born.
Or 2021. Oh man, I was graduating high school. So he had over 1,800 yards, 18 touchdowns, 40 receptions, 338 receiving yards. That's insane. I'm pretty sure he led the all college football in carries and yards that year.
Yes.
And why isn't anyone drafting him?
Because he went to Central Michigan and he
It
doesn't
does.
have the size. I just want to bring up one thing about Lou. I actually had him. I drafted him on my Devy team last offseason, before this season even started. And I was hoping that the momentum of what he had done that season was going to bring him in. He just doesn't have the right size, and he was a small school back. That's why.
All right. So, I mean, can you see like a Jay Ajayi type player with him? Ajayi had a couple good years.
We can see. We'll see. I mean,
So,
I still have him. I didn't. When I had to remove people to make room for roster spots, I did not remove him. He's still on that team. So that shows you. I mean, I kept him. So
yeah, I mean, like I said, these are late guys that are flyers you just throw on your bench. But another one people are starting to talk about is Sean Tucker.
maybe the top row Gator. I don't know about the bottom row.
But no, like Sean Tucker, man, like I just got him at the 412 today.
You got Tucker at the 412?
412 today. I picked him up off waivers and a couple other leagues. Like no one's.
God, I wish
just
I was
because
in your leagues.
It's because he went undrafted.
I know.
I'm pretty sure
that is why. But like in mine, he's still getting drafted.
Yeah, but so I was looking at some of his things. He put up 29 reps on the bench, which was 4 more reps than any other running back in this class. If you remember last year, who was the strongest guy last year that put up the most reps? And who did we get in the 4th round last year in drafts? Isaiah Pacheco.
Oh, Isaiah.
Yeah, so it's possible. I mean, and with Tucker though, yeah, I'm getting distracted. But with Tucker, like before the draft process and everything, like I think I had him as my RB7 before we found out about the heart condition and all the medical stuff. Then obviously he dropped way down, but he's a guy I'm just gonna draft in the 4th late, put him on my taxi squad, see what happens, hope for the best. So is there any other guys that you guys are seeing that are on the waiver, like Strange?
Jordan. So yeah, that's a lot of those guys that you named is some that I've ended up coming across. I also play in like some of the leagues I have are like 10 teams, so there's more people on waivers like that.
So
but
you
like
probably get like Schumacher
yeah,
on waivers.
yeah, guys like that, and I see a lot like Xavier Hutchinson, like you mentioned, and guys like that. Some of the guys that I'm looking at late. But also Zach Kuntz doesn't get drafted sometimes, so that's somebody we kind of talked about. I know he's, I guess, technically the 3rd string tight end, but I'm still grabbing that athletic profile. I'm not letting that go to waste. So I'm grabbing him, playing on the Jets team. So yeah, those are definitely some good names, good calls on those guys.
Yes. And then even your Green Bay Packer, Kraft, the tight end, the 2nd tight end they drafted. I've seen him on waiver wires. Just pick him up. And you remember what happened with Hurst and Andrews? They drafted Andrews a couple rounds later.
Yep.
And look who ended up being the better fantasy tight end.
All right. So a couple that I want to bring up. One is Puka Nacua from BYU, went to the Rams. I am not saying that he's a super elite talent, but have you guys looked at the depth chart at wide receiver in LA? All he's got to do is show out in camp, and he can be the 3rd wide receiver within 2 days. I mean, Van Jefferson is decent, but when Van Jefferson is your 2, and Higbee is probably your 3, and Higbee plays tight end, that's not good. Another one that I want to bring up, he is going in the 4th. I've even drafted him in the 3rd because he is one of my guys, and I've also seen him go undrafted, which drove me nuts. And that is Eric frickin' Gray, running back out of Oklahoma, who is now the backup to Saquon Barkley. Who's going to beat him out? Freaking Matt Breida, give me a freaking break. Okay. The only other one that I want to bring up, quarterback, Clayton Tune, Arizona, and here's the reason why. He's not going to be a stud quarterback. He's going to be a perennial backup. But we can't forget that Kyler Murray is probably not starting for half the year. Their backup right now is currently Colt McCoy.
Yep.
There is a decent chance that this kid could beat out Colt McCoy in training camp, in my opinion. And if this guy ends up being a starter for the first half, you can either use him or in Superflex, he could be a trade piece that you could, if you could flip him after a couple starts for someone that needed a quarterback and you get a second round pick or a third round, take it, right? I mean, it's just, Jamie, isn't Dynasty all about value?
Yep.
Or David, yeah, not even Colt McCoy. It's David Blau. That's even worse.
Wow.
Okay, that's even worse. Wow, Blau.
Oh man! Every time I hear that name, I think of the old Batman
Yeah.
series from like the '60s, where they go pow, boom.
Okay.
There is actually one more guy, and I wanted to bring up. He fell to the draft that I just finished today at the 410.
What position?
So running back. And Kyle, I hope you're still in the chat because you're going to appreciate this.
Okay, now, you're okay. There's one I didn't want you to bring up. Okay, you're
all right. It's going to be Evan Hall.
Yeah,
like I've been taking him at like the end of thirds, beginning of fourths. I took him even as early as the 305 in a draft, I think, because I just didn't like anyone there. But so today I traded my next year 4th round pick for the 410 just to get a flyer on Evan Hall. So I love that move.
Nice. All right. So for my next one, I am going I know Jamie's going to be talking startup a little bit later, but this is more specific. What I am telling everyone out there is do not go into a draft with a plan and stay rigid and frame. My plan didn't backfire, but the draft that I am talking about, I had the 5 hole. I had the 5 spot. I was able to get Justin Herbert at the 5. It was 3rd round reversal. My plan was to get a quarterback in the 3rd round or, whatever. I didn't like where I was in the draft. So I traded out of my 2 hole, my 2nd round pick. I ended up going to the 211 spot. And at 211, I drafted someone that I have never had a share of. Running back. At 211, I got Jonathan Taylor. Okay. But then I'd come back and I'm like, okay, I'll be able to get a okay quarterback or a rookie and then back it up with that, right? However, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 quarterbacks were taken by the time that my pick was up in the 3rd round.
Wow.
Okay. So I had to do a hard pivot and I said, screw it. I am just going wide receiver at the time because it was BPA too, but also I didn't care for all the running backs that were right there. So I went with Devonta Smith. Then it came back and I was going to take Daniel Jones in the 4th. Talk about a snipe.
Oh, man.
So Daniel Jones got taken right in front of me, so I took another wideout. Then I came around and
who was the wideout?
I took JSN.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And then I came back and I was going to take a quarterback and decided not to. Took DJ Moore. I'm still waiting to take a quarterback, but as an example, we are at the 602. Trey Lance just went. And the guys on the board, Pickett, Carr, Geno, Jones, Rodgers, down the line. At this point, I am going BPA and I am going to get some guys down low Just don't be rigid, because I could have reached for a quarterback at that third, and I would have had to reach for Daniel Jones in the third round. Even though I wasn't able to get him in the next round, I didn't feel comfortable drafting him in the third. Tua had already gone. Yeah, see, like Gator said, those are two of my targets, and I know that I'm hoping.
Oh, Carr and Gino. Yep, that's who I would have gone.
That's where I'm looking. I'm looking in that range. So my whole point is, it doesn't matter what position it is. If it's super flex, if it's one, if you're looking at wide receiver, if all of a sudden your plan goes out the window, it's fine. Go for it.
Pivot.
Yeah, you got to pivot. Jordan, what do you think?
I agree, man. Sometimes I get caught up in that myself, making it seem like I have to reach for something. But I think you did the right thing. You build a value everywhere else, and then you can always either make a deal or whatever, and kind of make up for the. You can always make up for whatever discrepancies you have at one position. You're not going to be loaded everywhere,
Nope.
so at least try to be loaded as many places as you can, and just take the L somewhere and try to make it up with a trade, or maybe you'll find somebody late that fell. So I think you definitely did the right thing. That's the right way to go. I'm using that philosophy more and more now, and like it sucks and in practice when it's happening, because you're like,
sucks. I'm all, no.
yeah, but you just gotta stay strong, not to fall for that urge to just reach on somebody who you know is not worth it, and you're just doing it just for the position.
Yep.
Yep.
Jamie?
I mean, I agree, man. Like a couple weeks ago, I was in a mock draft for another podcast, and it auto picked my first pick. I just 106, and the reason it auto picked is I was too busy listening to the Going for Two armchair show on Wednesday nights, and I was a little bit late, but that's all right. So I had to pivot. Like then when it came back to me after it auto picked Jefferson, I didn't like any of the quarterbacks that were there because it went like quarterback crazy. So I waited. 6 rounds later, I finally took my first quarterback, and then it was Derek Carr, and then second quarterback was Geno Smith. So I'll send you the team when we're done because I got it screenshotted.
Yeah. All right. So for our third one, Jordan, what is your next one?
So this is just something that's something that I think about. I'll never get this pick, but it's just something that it's something to talk about, I guess. But I rarely ever get the number one pick in redraft or dynasty for that matter. And any drafts that I get, I don't know how that happens. I end up with like 9 or something all the time. But so like I was just thinking about it, because I remember when I did the show with Jeff and Ryan back in November, we were doing like a future draft. It was like I had the number one pick. I was shocked because I never get that. And at that point in time, I picked Justin Jefferson. And then fast forward 6 months, I'm just wondering at this point, if I had the number one pick, would I take Jefferson? And I think it's a lot closer for me now. I think I might actually think about taking McCaffrey, just because I'm one of them guys that feel like I got to take a running back first a lot of time, even though receivers last year provided more value with Jefferson and Chase and guys like that. But if I had the number one pick right now, I probably would still take Jefferson in redraft. In Dynasty, obviously, it depends on if it's Superflex. If it's Superflex, I'm probably taking Mahomes. But if it's one QB in Dynasty, I'd probably take Jefferson still. But I'm interested to hear you guys' thoughts on that.
Jamie, let me take this one first, Jamie.
Okay, all right.
Okay. Dynasty 1 QB, I am taking Jefferson. Redraft 1 QB, I'm taking CMC. Partly the running back age, whatever. Jefferson's younger. The wide receivers don't age as fast, but also obviously Jefferson is a beast. But when it comes to it, how many running backs do you trust? I don't trust a lot, and if I can get CMC in a redraft like that, I'll take it all day long. I'd be happy with CMC in Dynasty still, but I would rather probably take Justin Jefferson, obviously in 1 and 2. And Superflex, we can all agree that the quarterback's going to be the number 1. But in that's how I feel. Jamie?
Yeah, one quarterback. I'm taking Roshan Johnson. No, I'm taking.
You're taking Jacoby Brissett too?
No, see, no, I'm taking
That's for
Jefferson.
Superflex. That's for Superflex.
I've actually had a couple best ball drafts already that I had the 101, and I went Justin Jefferson, and I just like the running backs that come back around on the turn. You can get like Nick Chubb. I mean, now I'm sure you can get like a Kenneth Walker, but I probably look somewhere else. But there's always going to be those like top 10 running backs on the turn coming back. So that's why I would go Jefferson. Last year, I took CMC first, and everyone thought I was crazy. They're like, "What? Why are you taking CMC? He's injury prone." He's like, "You're not taking Taylor number 1," and I'm like, "Well, no. If I was going to take anyone else, I would have took Jefferson."
Yeah.
But it worked out good for me, and I still got the receipts pulled up to show people.
Yeah, and for me, man, like I dig what Mike was saying about in redraft one quarterback with the value of running backs and how many you trust and how many you trust. Like, I mean, maybe Austin Eckler is in that circle of trust right now, especially for this last season for sure.
In redraft, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean, redraft. But I'm definitely I can say I take Jefferson, but if I'm on the clock, I might end up hitting that button for that guy in San Francisco. But I don't think you could go wrong with either one.
Yeah, I think I had the 102 in my only single quarterback startup that I did, and I went Jamar Chase because Jefferson went first, but I would have took Jefferson if Chase went first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Jamie, what is your next one?
Just a quick roster review of a draft that I was rebuilding a team on. So I ended up getting 9 rookie picks. So that means I had to get rid of 9 roster spots. Also,
how many trades did you make?
Oh, I've done tons of trades in this league. Like last year, I was looking, and I think I did like
Jamie.
8. Yeah.
Fair.
So some of the trades I did, I traded Dameon Pierce in the 110, and I got the 102. And then I went ahead and traded the 102, my 210, Schultz and Pacheco for the 101 and Gesicki. Let's see. Did you follow all that?
Yes,
I did.
And another one, I just went down the line, was trying to get rid of Lazard. Started like mid-second, went all the way down, declined. I just wanted Lazard off my team. I ended up getting the 304 for him. This is a very interesting trade. Chase Edmonds and a 2024 fourth for a 2024 third. Because I was just going to drop Chase Edmonds anyway. Because I needed the spot. So I looked and I was like, well, who has Rachaad White? So I went to the Rachaad White owner, offered it. He took it right away.
I'm disappointed in you.
Why, for trading away our boy?
You went off brand.
Well, you had to cut me.
That was so last year, boy. Another guy I had to drop, Elijah Mitchell. So I went and I got like a 2025 third for him just to get him some kind of value. But this is my draft. So Bijan 101. 103, I was going to take a quarterback, right?
Okay.
But I was like, well, I can get the same quarterback I won at 105. Because I also had the 105. So I went Bijan, Gibbs, and Stroud with my first 3 picks.
Okay.
Not bad, right?
Right.
And then my second round, I had the 203, 206, and 208. I went.
So you took Roshan Johnson, and Roshan Johnson.
No, I went Kendre Miller, Roshan Johnson at the 206, and then 208. I was debating between Mims and Reed. I always take Mims. It's just a debate that I always do. But then at the 303, Reed was still there, so I took Reed. 304, I got Laporta, and then A guy I've been taking like later in the third round is Tillman, but he fell to the 409 in this draft.
Wow.
So I ended up coming out with Mims, Reed, and Tillman at receiver, Laporta, Bijan Gibbs, Kendre, Roshan, which are my top 4 running backs besides A-Chain, and then Strout.
Man, you made out like a bandit.
Yeah.
That was a lot of work to get to that point, but it seemed like
it was a horrible orphan team that I took over last year and just made trades. Like I traded James Conner for a 209 last year and a 2024 third. But just tons of trades, man. Why is Laporta? This started. This was a draft that started day 3 of the NFL draft. So it was like my earliest draft that no one really had time and like to look at their rankings. But we've been doing this for months, so I already knew all my rankings and where to take people. Yep. So what was your favorite pick out of all those? And did you see any mistakes that I should have did differently? Because I do see one that I probably could have done a little different.
So, I mean, you got the best player in the draft, obviously, at the 101, so that's always nice. But, I mean, I think also getting somebody like Tillman in the 409, I think that's like a steal based on
Brian Ford says you're playing with toddlers.
It's not my fault. They just offer me their orphan teams, and I'm like, oh, I can fix this.
Oh, the toddlers offered you the orphan team? Nah, but yeah, I think getting somebody like Tillman like that, and even like like Gator was asking with Laporta, like you made out good, man. That's just a good draft all around.
Yeah, now the only reason like I went Gibbs with my second pick because I knew I was either going to get Young or Strout at the 105, and I didn't need both of them. Like I should have. What? Oh, AR was gone at the 102. Or I would have took AR at the 103 instead of Gibbs.
We're gonna talk a little bit about AR later on. And
yeah, we're talking about it. We'll talk about AR more. All right, so for my next one, I don't know if Jordan knows about this, but I messaged Jamie about it. I have to talk about this. So, veteran running backs need to hurry up and sign with teams. Okay,
yes.
You still have Zeke, you still have Kareem Hunt, you still have a couple other guys that need to sign. But that's where I was going to talk about. But that changed this afternoon. Jordan, did you see what a certain team did on their Twitter banner today?
No, I did not.
Okay, so I don't know what it was before. Ian Harditz from PFF, or I can't remember where Ian's at now. I don't want to say it if I'm not wrong or I'm not right. Ian Harditz on Twitter posted it, said, "This is funny," or something like that. And it was the Vikings banner. And it had a picture of Alexander Madison, Jefferson, Hawkinson, and Cousins, but no Dalvin Cook. Okay. So yesterday there was all these rumors. Yeah, Gator, he's at Matt Berry's Fantasy Life now. Thanks, Gator. I knew he went somewhere else.
So he left PFF?
Yeah,
about two weeks ago, I think.
Yeah, I knew he had left. I just didn't know where he was at. I think that could happen, Gator. I still think Kareem Hunt could go there too, but that's just me trying to put that into existence. So here's what I want to say about the Minnesota thing. Yesterday there was rumors that they were going to work on something and he was going to stay. Why would the banner be different today from Minnesota Vikings official Twitter account? It's because I do believe he's gone. I've been thinking he's gone. I was just hoping maybe not, but here's the thing. One of the guys that watches this, Seayard, he's been on here. He's been on the Rumboys chat. Jamie, you know who I'm talking about. Yep. He joined a league I'm in, took over an orphan. Horrible team. God awful. Horrible. I felt bad giving it to him. he was going to sell Madison. And I said, don't you freaking dare sell Madison. Don't do it. Wait until, if you're going to sell Madison, because he's going to sell him, but wait until Cook's gone. So that's one piece of advice, people. My piece of advice is don't sell Madison yet. Wait till June when he's probably off the team. Gator, I agree with you. I do think that he will be a Dolphin, possibly. I do think that's a possibility. That is a possibility if Cook gets cut. But here's the thing. That opens it up for Alexander Madison. Okay? It also opens it up for a rookie that Jamie did not bring up earlier, and I am very happy he did not because I was kind of worried he was going to. Dwayne McBride is a guy that I like in the, like, if you can get him in the fourth or free agency or whatever, mid-fourth free agent waiver if you only have a three-round draft. That's another rookie. That's the reason I didn't bring him up there was I was hoping he was going to wait. No one was going to bring him up, and I can bring him up here. They also have Ty Chandler from last year, who I have in a couple teams as well. I just think the writing's on the wall. They just got rid of Zadarius Smith to the Cleveland Browns for kibbles and bits. No pun intended. Dog pound. No. But I mean, literally, they got nothing for him.
Yep,
great trade. Nothing for him. Great for your team.
Yes.
But my whole thing is these veterans need to sign, and you're going to have another veteran on the market, and it's probably going to be the first one scooped up, even if he's the last one on the open market. He's probably going to be the first one swooped up on the market. What do you guys have to say before we go into the last part?
Oh man, if I had Madison, I'd sell him now if Cook's gone. Just
if
because
he's gone, but we don't know.
Yeah. And then like opposite, like I have Cook on one team. I'm waiting for him to sign somewhere so people hype him up. Then I'm gonna sell him.
Yep.
And see what I can get for him. But I could see him bringing in like a Fournette type. Like I don't think they're just gonna go with Madison and the rookie and the sophomore.
Yeah, we'll see.
I agree. I definitely didn't see the Twitter thing, but that definitely is kind of one of them signs where it's like, all right, bro, you out of here. So I don't think, even if so, like, let's say they didn't sign a veteran running back, I don't think that Madison is going to get all the work that Dalvin Cook got. Like I just don't see that happening. I see them kind of mixing and matching. Now he'll probably still get like goal line stuff, but I expect them to use the younger guys as well, and more in tandem than what Madison got with Cook. Dalvin Cook going to Miami would just kill. I don't know. That would just be another mess in that backfield. Dalvin Cook gets hurt a lot, so I mean, HM might still end up getting that to a job.
I still think he'll have a run at it.
Right? Yeah. So, but I mean, that I was trying to buy Madison from somebody a couple of days ago. I was hoping to get him before Cook left because the price.
Oh, if you're gonna try to buy him right now is the time to try to.
Yeah, because it's gonna be, once it's official, the price gonna be too high. So.
Yeah. All right. So before we get into the cheat of the week, Jamie, you know your job. We're paying some bills.
Oh yeah, right there. Scan your phone right there.
Today's show is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. Check out their industry-leading best ball leagues with huge tournaments, private leagues, and pick'ems for every major sport. Sign up with our promo code GF2 and get a deposit match of up to $100. It's as simple as that. Sign up, use the promo code GF2, and you can start drafting your best ball teams right now like Jamie has been doing for months.
That's correct.
All right, so Jordan, real quick, let's get into it. What is your cheat of the week, my man?
Last one. This is for Gator. We're talking about his boy, AR Anthony Richardson. I'm interested in.
So true.
Oh,
So
I am so interested in Anthony Richardson. So I don't know if you guys remember this, but when we were talking about this is a few shows ago, we are talking about I was like, what if Anthony Richardson ended up in Indianapolis and then we had Gardner Minshew and we were worried about the weapons that they had for him, but even with he has Pittman, they drafted Josh Downs, they have the young tight ends. Um,
Woods.
and yeah, Jelani
Yeah.
Woods. I think this guy can be really good in terms of redraft as well as dynasty. Obviously, in dynasty in a super flex, he's going to be probably the second pick. But I think even in a redraft, he's like he has the potential to be like a top 12 quarterback. I think.
Even
Just
higher.
yeah,
I'd say
yeah.
top
I
eight.
was scared to. I was scared to say like 10.
I'm thinking like 8, maybe even 7.
Yeah, I was trying to hedge with 12, but yeah, I definitely think he has that potential, man. Like with Shane Steichen there, who will help Hurts, and the way that they run the offense, man. I'm really liking Richardson. At this point, I think he's going to start from day one. I wasn't sure at first because I know he's still kind of a project, but I think they wouldn't have did what they drafted him at that point if they didn't anticipate him starting out of the gate. I like it a little bit for Jonathan Taylor as well, kind of just opening up the run game. That he's a threat to run the football as well. So Colts offensive line is normally good. So I like Anthony Richardson a lot, man. The more this goes on, the more I'm like, I could be okay waiting for him in a redraft league as my first quarterback, and then backing him up with like a veteran like a Cousins or something if I need to. But yeah, I think the sky could be the limit for this guy in fantasy. I don't know if it'll happen right away, but I think his potential is there.
Yeah, I agree, man. Like he could put up like running back one numbers on top of the passing. So that's
Yeah,
why I kind of give him that ceiling. What was it? I think Brian said the the ceiling's his floor or something like that. Yeah, I think it was the ceiling his floor.
so I
So
was
it's
I
like,
was yeah, I was in a league that I was at the 103 and the guy put the 102 on the market and I gave him Jelani Woods. So I gave him the 103 obviously. I swapped the 102 and the 103, but I gave him Jelani Woods and DJ Chark on top of it
oh, nice.
and drafted Anthony Richardson at the 102.
I like that
yeah,
value. Yep.
yeah. He's worth it. I think he's gonna be worth it, man.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
For only having to give up. I mean, if you think about it, I really only give up DJ Chark and what do you call it? Because I was not really the 102 and the 103 is just one like so.
But
Basically,
Yeah, 'cause I like his ceiling's high. Like Strout has more of that Kirk Cousins type of career path. He's going to be that quarterback 12, 13-ish. Like he's not going to be able to get into that top 5, but Richardson definitely has potential for the top 5.
absolutely.
yeah, I like.
Mhm.
All right, Jamie, what is your last one?
I just wanted to talk about some rookie startups real quick. Like now that the rookie drafts are done, people are like doing startup leagues. And there's a few things that I want to touch on before you actually jump into a league and commit to it because it's a long-term relationship.
That's for sure.
So like before you get into a startup, like know what you're getting into, check the format, look at the rules, the scoring, the roster size, and like see if it fits what you like to do and feel more comfortable with when you're drafting a team. If you like third round reversal, don't like just make sure you're comfortable doing what you want to do. Someone asked me the other day, they're in a draft and somehow the rookies just appeared in the middle of the draft. And I'm like, what? You just throwing the rookies in the middle of the draft? It was like round 10 or 11. And I was like, I don't even understand what you're doing here. So I couldn't really help. But but yeah, just don't join a crazy league just because you want to draft right away. Like I see tons of startups happening all the time. So anyone watching, if you need a startup, come find me on Facebook. We'll find you a league. Like I'm hopping in every time I see a league, I hop in and I look and I go through the rules, and then I message the commission and I tell them how to fix their stupid league. I'm like, this is dumb. Like you don't know what you're doing, and they're actually appreciative of it. They're like, oh, dude, thanks for helping me. Like I'd never done this before. Like I'll even send them a copy of like what do they call it, Constitution, and bylaws, and I'm like, read through this, edit it the way you feel you need to. But yeah, like people seem to be really appreciative, and then that next thing I know, they're hopping in my inbox, like asking me like, who should I draft here? Who should I draft here? And it's like, oh, I should get paid for this. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. Like if you're anyone looking for a league, you just message me. I see them constantly all day, every day. That's pretty much it.
I agree, man. It's definitely something like on Sleeper. Obviously, there are people advertising for you to jump in the league. You got to read that stuff quick. You got to read that stuff thoroughly before you just jump in. A lot of people have a lot of people have different rules, things they like. You got to read the scoring settings. Some things may be crazy. Extra bonuses for random stuff, like they put their pants on, they might get a +5. Like so, you never know. It's something that you got to be careful with. But it's also, I mean, sometimes you don't know a lot of people, so you just trying to get in. And if you, especially if you haven't played something like Dynasty for at all, is just important, imperative that you look and see if it's something that you want to do and stuff like that.
Yeah, like there's one that I joined with a co-commish, and I fixed all the rules, but the one thing that they were adamant about was randomizing the rookie draft also. And I was like, you're gonna regret this, man. So I ended up getting the 101 in the startup draft, and I ended up getting the 101 in the rookie draft. So I ended up getting like Mahomes and Bijan Robinson, and like I told them they were gonna regret it.
Okay, so here we go. I wasn't gonna say it, but damn you, Brian. We're about to have Mike's rant of the week. Read your bylaws. My buddy had one where it was like 0.5 for first down and one. It was 0.5 for first downs by the running back, but 1 point by the receiver. It was something like that. It was different for each position, whatever. And if the quarterback ran for a first down, it was like 1. All this. But here's the thing that I can't stand. Get it figured out before, and that is what Brian said. In Dynasty, trade deadlines are like an ex-girlfriend that won't leave you alone. You don't need them.
Well, so I will say, you kind of do though, like during the regular season. Like I feel like you need them at a certain point because then you never know if somebody's gonna help out their boy to win the championship right quick.
But what I'm saying, okay, do it at like the end of this. But like the one I'm in, they finally changed it. But for the first 3 years of the league, the freaking trade deadline for Dynasty was week freaking 10.
Okay, I'm not saying. I mean, later than that. But.
So we moved it to the beginning of the playoffs. So things couldn't happen in the playoffs. No, it wasn't against you, Brian. Don't worry.
Yeah, I was just like in one of my leagues, the commissioner bowed out, so he made me the commish. I went to the rules and I saw week 12 deadline. I was like, oh, no deadline. I'm not even going to tell anybody. Let them look.
I guess, it's hard because like I'm a commissioner Dynasty League. This is like my first league I was running. I did some stuff, but now I want to change the stuff, but I can't change it because
people won't change
people already are used to like a certain way. So it's like it's one of those things. But I guess you put it up to a vote, and if it passes, it does. If not, but like there's some things I did was dumb, and now I want to change it, but I can't just do that without having to put it.
Okay. Gator, they don't have a bedtime. They do have a bedtime. They're not toddlers. Here's the thing. The league that I am just talking about was everybody in the league but me had never played Dynasty. They had only ever played Redraft. We had a keeper league with 2 keepers. They wanted to make it Dynasty. We did the startup, and I'm like, this is going to be an issue. And everyone's like, no, it's fine. It's not going to be a problem. And I said, okay, but remind you. And a guy hit me up for a trade, and I said, trade deadline was yesterday, buddy. He goes, oh, I needed to like retool part of my team for the playoffs. I go, oh, too late. And guess who won that year? This guy.
Yeah.
So that was on him. All right, so I think we have had a good show. Let's run around the horn and do quick sign-outs, and then we will get out of here. Jamie, go ahead, my man.
I'm on Twitter, Jamie Progue. Find me here, Going for Two. Every Tuesday night we do the cheat sheet. I'm always in the chats on every other show, every single night on Going for Two. So find us in the Discord, look us up.
Find me on Twitter at jarsenal89. Might be crying about the Lakers tonight. But otherwise, catch me here on Tuesday nights on the Fantasy Cheat Sheet.
All right, everyone, you know where to find me. Drop the mic FF. If you ever need anything graphic-wise, hit me up. Other than that, you can find me here on Tuesday nights. You can find my written stuff over on Dynasty Nerds now and GF2. Other than that, for Jamie, for Jordan, I'm Drop the Mic. See you guys.